We've got a lot to talk about as Zac Alley and Rich Rod's press conferences were really bad today. Changes are coming, but I'm going to tell you right now, guys, not good what's going on right now on this football team.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I'm your host, and this is sort of an emergency Locked On episode of Locked On West Virginia. Thank you guys so much for joining in as we dive into another football topic and situation surrounding the Mountaineers. Not here alone as well. I have somebody that I love having on, as you guys know, and somebody that I have a massive amount of respect for as he's grown on a lot of you too. And that is, of course, TCU offensive coordinator Jackson Johnson.
How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Doing good, brother. Thanks for jumping on with me
Of
as we discuss these topics that aren't fun to talk about. And we're going to be looking at some changes Rich Rod talked about. Changes are coming, Jackson, to this West Virginia football team. Players are not playing hard for this football team.
No,
they're not playing
changes
hard.
Are coming.
So changes are coming. And then we'll dive into Jackson's world of college football and preview some upcoming games this week in the Big 12. Okay, so let's dive into the first part of this because, first of all, let's go to the title real quick. Today's episode is going to be brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5. It'll make you holla. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So make sure you download the FanDuel app today to get started. And guys, thank you so much for joining in. I'm sorry it's later. It's a Paul after dark. I get it. But thank you so much for joining in. Let's go into Rich Rod's press conference from earlier today and take a peek at a couple different things he said. Starting with this really troubling one.
I'm going to go through the whole time here, but trust me, I am evaluating anything and everything to do with our football program, starting with myself and the staff and then the players and everything else that we need to do to have success. I'm still convinced we're going to win big and have great success. It's not happening as fast as I want for sure, but we're putting the pieces together. It's just painfully obvious that it's going to take us a little longer. And some of it is bad luck, and some of it is, missed evaluations, and some of it is simply we've got to be able to adapt a little bit quicker to certain situations. But there's not anything that goes by that I don't question, so you guys are questioning, which is fair. That's what you should do and could do, and our fans can question because they're frustrated, I'm sure, and so am I. But
so missed evaluations. Let's talk about that because I think that leads into some of the changes that are going to happen. It's pretty obvious that Kima Makaniole is a miss. It's pretty obvious that Tykees Crawford on the right side is a miss. It's pretty obvious that even Walter Youngbear to some extent has been a miss. And what sucks, these are all really nice guys. If you see them in interviews, they're amazing looking. They're amazing dudes. Probably better people person than even I am. I look at them. They're just young. They're just now getting into the world, and unfortunately, they're on a bad football team, and they're kind of a big part of it because the offensive line is incapable of getting any push. Thankfully, we're going to see a couple people probably come in and play. He talked about in the interview or in the press conference about playing young guys at multiple positions, specifically along the O-line. And Malik Agbo is a big piece of that. I think that a lot of people will be happy to see come in. He was definitely one of the highest graded dudes that played last week. So, you've got to be happy with the potential that he brings. And as a Texas transfer and a guy that has some pedigree behind his name, right? And I think, he's going to probably play tackle. And Donovan Haslam at guard, who is a big kid. And the thing about these two guys is they're juniors, and they can play next year. So I think that you get a little bit of hope, especially with Agbo, a guy that just needs to gain some weight. Athletically wise, he's got everything you need. He's quick, fast. He can really, really move. So I think he's a guy that you're excited about. It's just that I don't know if he's going to get you a lot of push, but he might be able to just win with technique or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. He made some nice blocks in the game, the other day. I will say that. So hopefully those guys are going to be playing a starters level number snaps. I certainly don't think or know whether or not they're going to start the game, but I do think they're going to play a starters number of snaps going forward, and they're going to try to get them guys ready for next year, which is a big deal, Jackson.
Agreed. I mean, you want to make sure you've got all your guys ready and rolling for sure. And for those that are listening to the Rich Rod press conference via audio, he's got the face of a parent saying, leave me alone, leave me alone.
Oh, it's bad, dude. If you look at his body language and stuff, oh my God, it's all closed in. It's like, whenever somebody's like this, like, don't bother me kind of thing. Yeah, that's definitely how he's looking right now. And I understand it. I get it. He's being asked really hard questions. They're not performing well. Like, there's a bunch going on there, but it's a situation where this change needs to happen. It's got to happen. It just does. I mean, Can we just be honest about it? It's got to happen. Like, what's been going on, and he goes on to say at some point in this interview, we get it. We can't keep on putting the same guys out there. That's the definition of insanity. And we're not going to do that. So they're not going to, and the only position group that they haven't changed as far as starters go is the offensive line, which tells you a lot. But at this point, you can't convince anybody that there isn't potential behind them, because we saw Agbo and company get on their field and West Virginia scored, during the drive versus UCF with them guys playing in the game. So I think you have to, it falls on Jack McNeil, in my opinion, for keeping to put out the same five guys. I mean, Rich Rod probably gets the ultimate call, but he's probably getting the information from McNeil, who says, look, these are our best. And the lack of change there is very concerning over the course of this year, Jackson.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I just hope there can be some staff changes for the end of the season, which I've got a feeling there's going to be.
Jack McNeil probably won't be back next year. Yeah, I've been told that.
Now.
Yeah, bye Big Now. I did a show on that. Because I think we talked about it yesterday, didn't we? What was his overall record? Can you remember, or how many winning programs had he been a part of?
The highest they had in the last 10 years was a 9-5 record with North Carolina in 2022.
That's it.
Yeah.
In 10 years, his best record was, which is a good record. You'll take that. But that was the height of it. Everything else was like what? He had several under 5.
Yeah, like 6-7 or a 7-5, 5-7.
Yeah. And it's not just on him. Like, I continue to preach that, but when you're a part of losing football teams and losing, you're a piece of that. And for whatever reason, teams he's been on have been bad. And nothing controls wins and losses more than the offensive line in college football. Like, you can have the worst offensive line in the country and you're going to be bad. And we do, or at least probably one of the top 5 worst. You can have an incredible offensive line, and if you have just a bad quarterback, you can still win, even with a bad quarterback, because you can just do certain things because you have an offensive line. You just hand it off. So unfortunately, it's a non-starter, as I like to say, because the offensive line is the ignition to the engine, unfortunately. And this is the situation we're in. So hopefully these changes make a difference against TCU on Saturday, Jackson.
No doubt. Like, West Virginia definitely needs something to look forward to for the rest of this season.
Yeah, and if playing young guys is that thing, so be it. I'll take it. because for me, anyways, I can get excited about that. I know not everybody can, and I understand why that is. Trust me, I do. It's just, I mean, let's just ask ourselves the question, without winning out, is there a lot you can get excited about for this team? I'm going to say no. There's not a whole lot to be excited.
Oh, he went off for a moment.
Huh?
Oh, you're back on now.
Sorry. As I was saying, is there anything that you can do that gets you less excited than watching this team be bad the rest of the year? Not really, but there's one thing that does get me excited, and it's that this team has a chance to be decent next year, especially if some of these younger guys get a chance to play, which is what we really need.
Well, as I've been coming on here quite a few times last few weeks, of course, 2025 is a terrible year, but it's not all bad because that means 2026 is a humongous blessing in disguise. And as I've stated before, I'll say it again: 2023 Arizona State, 2024 Houston. Look at what they did the season after.
Thanks, man.
You're
We need
welcome.
that. Before we go to break, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you while I find this? I'm going to be looking for this little clip from Zac Alley really quick. Can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Absolutely, good buddy. They can find me on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, uh, where I had on Bertie Smith on with me for Alabama Primetime Live 33. They can find me on Jackson Johnson 979, where I will be having pits and analysis with Sports Talk with Austin later tonight after I get done with Locked On West Virginia. And I've got upcoming episodes of the Jacksonian with Coach Johnny Burtz and a few other people in the next week as well. Who are they? That's why you tune in to Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube, where I'm 286 subs away from that magic number 1,000. And for more updates, what I've got going on Alabama with the Voice College Football, the Jacksonian, and on Jackson's World College Football right here on Locked On West Virginia. The Mountaineers with Mountaineer Paul. Check me out on Jacksonville CFB on /Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908.
Appreciate that, Zach. I said Zach because I'm thinking Zac Alley and Jackson. Well, after the break, guys, we're going to talk about players not playing hard. Rich Rodriguez and Zac Alley both said there's no effort happening right now, and that means the buy-in is not there, or is it? I don't know, but we're going to let you decide right after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our friends at Monarch. Look, we love talking about Monarch for multiple reasons, and that's because they've been an amazing sponsor for us. They really have, guys, and you know, they've changed their name again, which is great. They want to be known as a different name. I don't have any problems with that, obviously, and hopefully you don't either, but they do great work at Monarch. And the reason that is we have to be honest. Most of us can't name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they're worth. Between 401k savings and investments, it's easy to lose track. And that's because money can be left on the table. That's why I started using Monarch. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire life together in one clean, easy-use interface on your workplace or phone. It gives you an easier life, right? And here's how it can help you. It's helped me organize my accounts, track my spending, and get a better handle on investments without having to touch a spreadsheet. Their data visual boards, smart tools make it easier for me to understand where my money is going and how to make it work harder for me. Don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off your very first year. And, of course, we can't forget about our good friends at FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, it's pretty simple. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet $5 that'll make you holler, and you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's right. You can do it. You can do it. What I love about FanDuel is really how there are so many ways to play. You can build parlays, player props, you can do live blinds during games. So I have to ask, what are you waiting for? Visit fanduel.com today to download the app, and you too, like Jackson, can get started. Segment 2, crack a water dew.
Got a coffee
Yeah.
day for
You
tonight.
have a coffee dew? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have
'cause
any
I'm
dew today.
keeping an eye on the world of college football.
Mazda.
And I've got
Mazda.
NBA on NBC on the Peacock app on my phone.
I appreciate it, man. I do appreciate it. Okay. Let's listen to a couple clips. I just have to be honest here. They're not going to be fun clips to listen to, but Zac Alley and company had a lot to say today about the effort.
Program, like areas where like maybe the culture didn't quite get where it was, maybe like what he said, some evaluations were missed, and how
For those
do you
watching
address
on
that
the
still in season
listening
to
via
try
audio, he looks like an angry dad.
Yeah.
Zac
to
Alley is
turn
angry.
this around and get some wins. Like he said, there's a lot of football left to be played.
Yeah, I do feel that. You just watch the amount of loafs and things that happened in the game. I called it out right on the first series. I mean, like, second play of the game, we got 6 guys not running the ball. And
So let me get this straight. On the first series, second play of the game, you don't have anybody running the ball. 6 guys? Are you kidding me? 6?
The main sits, man. Like, good grief.
That's insane, dude. And listen to the point he makes about this.
when you replace 71 guys, nobody's been around us for an extended period of time. And so, you're working every single day for guys who, when you get a freshman in, a lot of times that guy, he's bought into kind of how you're the only voice he's ever heard, and so he understands, and that's what he gets built into as a senior. You get a guy that's maybe been at 3 or 4 different programs. He's heard a lot of different things. So you're trying to create buy-in from those guys all the time. And obviously losing doesn't help that, but the key for us is just how can we continue to hold things to a standard of how we're going to do what we do. And, once we realize what sometimes guys don't understand.
So I think it's enough on that one. We're going to go to a quick Rich Rod one here because he kind of piggybacks off of this right here. So listen to what Rich Rodriguez said at the 2:36 mark of his press conference about the same issue. Guys, this is a problem.
The right word was still there, and in this past game it wasn't, and that's again, poor coaching, from that standpoint, because we got to do a job, especially me, from our guys having that certain level of competitiveness in every play. And in that game, there were a lot of, even early in the game, before anybody even scored a touchdown or something, that was the most surprising part of it.
Early in the game, before somebody scored a touchdown, no effort.
Good grief.
This is a real issue, right? And Zac Alley pointed it out, Jackson. It's we talk about it all the time in this new era of college football. Hired guns, if you will, or mercenaries in college football because of NIL. You've got guys that you're basically, quote unquote, hiring for 1 year, and you're trying to convert them into your culture and all that. Well, that works pretty well when you've got the culture set, because then you're just bringing in 10 or 15 guys that are walking into a building where the culture is already there. But when you're starting from scratch and you have to bring in 81 new guys, that's not the case, Jackson. And I'm just going to be honest. I don't think West Virginia is going to win another game this year. I'm not going to pick us to win one until we win one. This is truly troubling. I didn't think that it was going to be this bad this early. And I also didn't think that it was going to – I didn't think it was going to fall apart because they're 2-5, to be honest. Like, and there's something to be said for it's just kind of a job to them now, right? I mean, they come in, they clock in, they go to work while they're at practice, and they go home. Is college football fixable? Is college football fixable? I don't know. But, I mean, this frustrates the hell out of me because now it almost makes sense why they didn't spend the other $5 million. Why spend $5 million on 5 or 10 more guys that aren't going to come in and play hard? I mean, that would have been 90 players. I mean, when would it have stopped, right? So I think my opinion is starting to change on that extra $5 million because when you think about it, they were already at 81. What were they supposed to do? What were they supposed to do, Jackson? What's your
$5
response?
million. Good grief.
Players not playing hard, and
they got to play harder.
What's your overall take on? I mean, Zac Alley said it. When you get a guy as a freshman, by the time he's a senior, all he's heard is you do it this way for 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when a guy is a senior coming in or a transfer, he's probably heard he could have transferred 3 other times, and he's heard 3 other better ways to do that, right? That one thing.
Oh yeah,
Scott, that's not how it works, bro. You're placing it on them. It's not. There's only been one, really recently one. If you want to count TCU, we can, but they had a lot of players stick around from Gary Patterson. Indiana is the team that everybody looks at and says, you can be great in year one. But it's just an anomaly, right? I mean, we said it the other day on the show. I mean, Arizona State won 3 games in their first year. Kansas won 2 games in their first year. It's not going to be good. Colorado won 4 games in their first year, and that's because they had an elite portal class. I mean, they had Jordan Seaton and guys like that coming in. It was elite freshman at the time. I mean, Jordan Seaton, one of the best players in the country, as you know, Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think you can – how can the hard edge be set in 7 games, Scott? It's not a fair thing to ask of them. I mean, I get it. If you're against Rich Rod, this is great fuel for you. I'm not saying you are, by the way. Well, we are, but UCF is – I mean, that's a fair point, but it's not like UCF is in first place in the Big 12.
No.
And if you look at their schedule, I mean, it's been better. It's easier than ours. So, I mean, yeah, they beat the hell out of us, but we lost 3 games in a row by the time we played. It's just we're in 2 different places by the time this game happened. If we played UCF the same way we played Pitt, I mean, but we didn't. We played them when we did. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just it's obvious they had a competent quarterback. So, but I mean, what do you want us to do? Like, they're playing with the guy they started the year with, even though they were down a couple players. That guy that was starting quarterback for them was the guy they started the year with. They believed in to start this season. That'd be like us getting Nico back, right? So rather than a true freshman, and then it's just we missed on evaluations. Like they hit on a couple, we didn't. So it is what it is, man. I mean, what are you going to do? I think, obviously next year I think we'll be a much better football team. Like it happens. You have if you had to base everything off of what of not even a whole year at this point, but 8 months, 9 months, whatever they've been here, nobody would ever succeed. Even Nick Saban had off years evaluating. But you've got enough equity built up into the program to where you can handle it. We don't have any. They admitted it. I think here's the thing, guys. One thing that we have to admit here is that Rich Rodriguez did not have to do this at Jacksonville State. So it's similar because they brought a bunch of new guys in Jack State, but they're all young guys that are hungry that had never played at that level before. And at West Virginia, you're getting guys that have played 3 or 4 years somewhere else, like Makaniole played at LSU, right? Or like Agbo, he played at Texas, or like we've got a bunch of Power 4 guys, or Jamoy Robinson played at UTSA. I mean, that's still Division I football. They just missed on some guys, just like they hit on Coates is a good player, just like they hit on a couple other guys. It just we missed where we missed. And I'm not going to panic or anything until at least beyond next year. I got to see next year before I even consider the panic button. Let's go to break. Let's dive into Jackson's world of college football as he takes us through the Big 12 after the break. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by our good friends at Game Time. That's right. College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands. There's nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel a bit more like the game itself. It's a battle. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to Jackson. That's right. It goes back to Jackson with the advantages. That's right. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees at checkout. What you see is what you pay. Put up Game Time in just a couple of taps. Saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite college football games for as low as $25. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase with the terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDON. COLLEGE for $20 off today. And you too can swipe, tap, ticket, and go download Game Time today and answer yourself the question of all questions. What time is it?
Game time.
It's game time. It's segment 3, and we're diving headfirst into the wild, wonderful world of Jackson's world of college football.
Oh, man. And we're in the Big 12 for this segment. For segment 3, as we get ready for Big 3. I'm going to figure out the rhyme eventually. But anyway, so we've got the Sunflower Showdown between the Kansas State rivalry on TNT on HBO Max. As Kansas has not defeated the Kansas State Jayhawks since 2008.
Yeah.
If Kansas wins this one, it'll be the first time since 2008. And does this year look like the year for Kansas to end that losing streak to Kansas State?
It's in Kansas, you say?
Mm-hmm. In
Lawrence.
Kansas. Lawrence. David Booth, Kansas.
K-State's playing a lot better lately. I'm just going to go with Kansas State. I just have a feeling they're going to pull it off somehow. You went against Kansas State last week. You want to do it again?
3 words. Yes. Definitely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm going with Kansas in this one. I think they could do it this year.
Kansas State stomped TCU last week now.
Yeah, well, that's TCU. This is Kansas we're talking here. I think Kansas is going to win a tight one, 28-27.
Jackson Johnson, he kind of looks like a young Lance Leopold.
Well, here's the Lance Leopold getting it done on Saturday on HBO Max. Here we go. And we got our next game. Oh, man, this is a pitiful one. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech on ESPNU.
I mean, what's the spread on that one, I wonder?
38.5 for Texas Tech.
I'll take Texas Tech with that spread. I think they get it done.
Oh, they're going to beat Oklahoma State like a drum, 48-7.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Oh, well, this game's better. Baylor Cincinnati on ESPN2 at Nippert Stadium.
It's at Nippert as well, huh?
Yep. Van Nippert. Oof.
Nippert's a good stadium. You know, it holds about 40K. It's not an overly big stadium, but it's loud. They do good work there. Cincinnati's playing like one of the best teams in the Big 12 right now, Jackson. You got to go with the
Oh, yeah.
Bearcats.
I think I'm going to go with Cincinnati in this one in a 31-21 victory over Baylor.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Baylor's good, capable of winning this game for sure.
there we go. Here's a good one. They'll change conference play for the season. Houston, Arizona State on ESPN2, 7 p.m. Central Time in Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go with Arizona State in this game. I think Houston is definitely pretty good at, what are they, 5-1 now?
6-1.
6-1. That's impressive start for them.
Yeah, they clinched bowl
They're
eligibility
coming.
with a victory over Arizona.
I'm going to go with Arizona State. I mean, they just beat Texas Tech, for God's sakes.
Ugh.
I mean, you're still a talented football team to do that. But, yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Sun Devils until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Arizona State in a 38-28 victory.
Fashion.
Yep, 38-28 fashion.
All right.
Big 12 after dark, 10:15 Eastern, where we had the Colorado Buffaloes circling the wagons into Rice-Eccles Stadium against the Utah Utes.
Yeah, I think Utah is going to come out really mad in this game, and I think they're going to take it to the Buffs. I've got them winning that game.
Oh, yeah.
34-24.
Oh, man. Utah's going to do more than that. They're going to be chewing up Colorado like a chicken nugget in a 31-10 victory.
What else we got?
Oh, we got BYU Iowa State on Fox, and
Yeah.
Iowa State is unranked, and it's a win or go home game in their fight for the Big 12. As BYU's unbeaten, coming off a huge win over Utah, and it's in Ames, Iowa.
You're starting to wonder about Iowa State here. This is a monster game for them. They've lost 2 games in a row, and now they've got BYU and Iowa State coming up. I mean, that would be 4 in a row, possibly, if they lose this game.
Oh, yeah. Iowa State's got Arizona State after BYU, and that's in Ames, Iowa.
Right. I think I'm going. I mean, I'm going with BYU in this game. There's no doubt. My Canadian came out again, didn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
How do I do
No
that?
doubt about it, friend.
Oh God! Don't let anybody else find out.
Well, Guy, I am going with Iowa State in a 28-24 victory.
You're picking Iowa State?
Yeah, I'm picking Iowa State. Pull it off.
Wow. Okay. What we got
Iowa
next, brother?
State is not BYU's buddy, Flynn.
And I'm not your friend, Guy.
He's not your friend, buddy.
I'm not your guy, friend. All right, what do you got next, brother?
Well, the last one is TCU West Virginia on ESPN Plus. You want to wait till later in the week for that one, or? No,
I don't. No, I'm picking TCU in this game. I don't think West Virginia has a chance. I don't. I mean, you listen to how these coaches are talking. Could they rally together and get it done? It would make me so happy if they could. If Max Brown was starting, I would feel better about it because I think he can really throw it, but we're not going to find out. And I would love to see Scotty come into his own.
Auto zone.
I would really love to see that, but we're just going to have to wait and see, right? I mean, if it happens, it happens, but I've got TCU. They're not as good as some of the teams we've been beaten by, but I'm going to say 38-17, something like that, 38-24.
Yeah, I think TCU is going to win 35-13 against West Virginia. Sorry, West Virginia. Personally, I'm going to be pulling for those Mountaineers over TCU all the way. I'm just like nothing personal against TCU, but it's just I like West Virginia more. I like them more. What can I say?
Oh, we appreciate that. Well, there you have it, guys. That's Jackson's World of College Football, and we'll be doing a couple other more games this week, so don't worry about that. We'll pick the SEC and Big Ten and everything else moving forward this week. But until then, guys, we thank you so much for joining in on this episode of Locked On West Virginia with the voice of college football, Alabama's Jackson Johnson, the Jacksonians, Jackson Johnson, Paul Feinbaum's Jackson Johnson, and Locked On West Virginia's Jackson Johnson's Wild and World of College Footballs, Jackson Johnson, as he is also at the BOCFB on X, his Jackson Johnson. In all seriousness, though, can't thank you enough, my dude. And we will see you guys on the next one. But we always have one thing to tell you before you go, and that's roll damn Tide. And don't forget to cue them country roads.
There we go. Oh!